What's up, Grind Squad? It's DG back again, and this time I'm coming to you with a quick and easy build guide for Apothecary. So make sure you hit that like, show your boy some love, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Dragon Grind. I'm here to show you how to play hard, grind hard without sweating too hard. So hit that subscribe, turn the notification bell on, and stay up to date on my newest content. Now this is a new format. I did as much as I could to kind of cut out all the filler and get straight to the point, make it short and sweet for you. It did take me a while to get all the graphics and stuff down, but I'm hoping that this will allow me to put out a lot more of the hero guide videos for you guys to consume and, you know, help the channel grow. So if you can, leave me a little comment down below. Let me know if you like it, and I will definitely make sure that I put these out for you guys as much as possible. But let's go for now. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
It's that Super Bowl, no, she my flow. Yeah. It's that
Alright, so getting into Apothecary himself, you can find him in the High Elves Index under the rares. A lot of people consider him a legendary rare due to how impactful he is in the game and how widely he's used. He finds his role pretty early game as a speed booster and develops more and more to be more impactful into your teams. His kit's pretty solid. He has a A1 that has 3 hits random that pairs well with Giant Slayer, a single target heal that can crit, which is important, and his main skill is his speed and turn meter increase. He also has an aura for ally defense in dungeons by 21%, can really help you crawl through them dungeons as you progress. As far as early game goes, he's really kind of limited on what he can add to your team due to builds, so he's mainly your speed booster as well. It can be used as a secondary healer. His build is pretty simple. It's gonna be speed and sustain, prioritizing HP over defense, and then just pumping in with as much speed as possible. As far as his gear setup goes, you're going to want HP and defense on his gloves, you're going to want HP or defense on his chest, and then speed for the boots. As far as sets go, he works very well with Divine, Speed, Life, Immortal, sets like that really give him sustain and speed. Due to the fact that your early game gear options are limited, the build you can put on Apothecary is also limited to the point where he's just pretty much reliable as a speed booster. He doesn't really have the ability to utilize his A1 or his A2 all that well. Here is a clip of his heal with no crit rate, and to kind of show you, you know, remember that number is about 12,000 on the heal, to kind of show you what the difference is between a crit and a non-crit heal. As far as mid game goes, this is where Apothecary kind of blows up, and he can contribute more to your teams. Now, not only is he your used as a speed booster, but he can be your primary healer. At this point in time, you should have your masteries on your team, on your heroes, things like that. So, you know, tier 6 masteries paired with lifesteal can make it where Apothecary's heals is enough to really sustain your team, so he can be used as a primary healer as well. And this is also when you're usually climbing more into dungeons and things like that. So not only is he, you know, using clan boss and arena, but he's also, this is where he branches out more into dungeons and becomes more viable in faction wars and things like that. His build really hasn't changed much. It's speed and sustain, prioritizing HP over defense, but now you can also add in a little bit of crit rate. Your gear should allow you to do that, and with that comes the ability to put crit rate gloves on him, and then you're probably still going to want like an HP chest, and as always, speed on the boots. The sets that was used in early game are still viable here, but now, if need be, if you're really wanting to strive for that crit rate, you can now throw some crit rate set on him. Masteries makes a huge impact for Apothecary because it helps out his healing and his speed buff and things like that, as well as Lore of Steel to help increase his crit rate and speed as much as possible. Not to mention, putting Giant Slayer on him makes his A1 actually do, you know, a moderate amount of damage. And like I said, you know, at the mid game, you should have the gear that allows you to put crit rate on him. You know, he doesn't necessarily need 100% crit rate, but stacking up as much crit rate as possible can really make a big difference to him, because as you can tell in this clip right here, his heal went from 12,000 to now nearly 20,000 on his single target heal. So, you know, just rounding down, that's like a 10, that's almost double. And that really makes a large impact. Now, as far as in game goes, this is where his shine kind of stops. He is still effective, but there come in game your teams require so much that he kind of falls off. His in-game roles will be again a speed booster, but even then he's outshined by a lot of other heroes. And then a supplemental healer. He can still be your main source of healing, but you're going to need some form of sustain, shields, defense up, ally protection, things like that through the rest of the game. Nothing really changes with his build in the end game. You're going to want speed, crit rate if you can, and then you're actually going to want to kind of prioritize some defense over HP as you get in the end game. Your enemies start hitting significantly harder, and you're going to want him to not take so much damage to where he can actually move his skills or rotate his skills to heal and boost and get your team through it. The come in game, his sustain really ain't that big of a deal, so you're gonna primarily just want divine speed sets on him, and that's gonna more or less kind of sum up the build for him. You're not gonna need to worry so much about his sustain, as your gear should be 5-6 star sets. So he should be able to, acquire the 2,500, 3,000 defense, 30,000 plus HP, things like that. You just really want to pump up his speed and his crit rate to make him as consistent and fast as possible. Oh, also as a note, I scrolled through the platinum tier whale board, and I did not see any Apothecary at this point in time. It's all Lysandras, Arbiters, Sifis, Dutch, anything like that. So I don't really see him being like in-game viable for Arena, but he can still be used up to gold 4 to farm. Now that I've went through his early to in-game builds, let me go ahead and show you how I built my Apothecary. We can get into that. Okay, getting into how I built my Apothecary. Now, he's not actually in any of my in-game teams because I have, Arbiter and Seeker and just other heroes that kind of outshine Apothecary. But I did build him up proper for this video. And I ran him through Clan Boss, a few dungeons, Arena, things like that, just kind of testing him out, make sure, I got all the facts straight, stuff like that. It's been a little while since I've used him. But again, just as, the rest of the video suggests, I got crit rate gloves on him with speed substats, defense chest on him with speed substats, speed boots, speed sets. I did go lifesteal because I ran him in Clan Boss. And in my opinion, if you are going to run him in Clan Boss towards, Nightmare, Ultra Nightmare, then definitely have lifesteal on him. Pretty much ever since I had tier 6 Mastery Giant Slayer on him. You throw him in lifesteal, he can be, he'll self-sustain himself as well as help keep the rest of the team up. His necklace is defense, and his ring is defense as well, with an HP banner that had speed. So as far as jewelry goes, accessories go, just some combination of defense and HP with speed substats, and then HP defense percents on the ring and banner. As much as possible. Looking at his overall stats, I got 36,000 HP, 2,500 defense. I'd like to get that up to 30,000. That would require, pumping a little more into, or finding a defense banner with speed substats. 245 speed, not bad, respectable. 96% crit rate. Now, crit rate's not affected by affinity like as if you're hitting an enemy. If it's 96%, it's going to be 96% across the board, regardless of your ally's affinity. Little crit damage there just to kind of help out, I guess. And he does not actually need axe. He has no debuffs, anything like that. So pretty much, again, just speed, sustain. There's definitely some more pieces up here that I could replace with better speed substats and crit rate and HP, things like that. Maybe even a 6-star pair of crit rate gloves would actually help him out quite a bit. But, just min-maxing that, it comes down to speed, crit rate, sustain. Not that difficult. As far as his masteries go, there's not really too many different variations you can use on this. I do not believe that I've seen anyone use defense tree on him, but it could be possible, I suppose. But pretty much you want to go down the offense tree, getting the crit rate, getting anything to help him, heal and survive, such as Life Drinker, and ending up at Giant Slayer for his A1. He does respectable damage after that. On his support tree, he doesn't need accuracy, so you go HP. I went with these two for the heals. This rapid response is a big one for him because it has a chance of increasing his turn meter anytime his buff that he cast is removed or expires, and he has his speed buff, so that can be pretty big. Lore of Steel is pretty big for Apothecary as well, because usually you're going to use stat increasing sets like speed, crit rate, life, and immortal sets like that. So this will add a little boost, especially if you're mid game or you're purely just using him for dungeons and speed set building. This can be pretty huge. And then I came down here for lasting gifts just to try to extend the duration of his speed buff, since that's pretty much his primary use. It isn't exactly necessary, because once booked, it comes down to a 3-turn cooldown on a 2-turn buff, and if you stack him with enough speed, you can usually get 3 for 2 on your enemy's turns, no problem. But it's there, it helps, and it isn't like you have a whole lot of options. But these are the masteries I picked for him. I guess you could go for the additional healing here, maybe even the increased speed for dead allies, but usually if your allies are dead, then Apothecary is not going to save you. He doesn't really kill enemies, but I figured having Methodical to help him throw out a little more damage, and if kill streak to bridge to get to Giant Slayer, but if he happens to kill an enemy, then it'll increase his damage a tad bit there, and they stack cross rounds, so it is just the what if bonuses. But other than that, pretty simple build, pretty simple masteries, yet he is quite impactful when it comes down to actually running him through dungeons and clan boss, and even up to gold 4 farming for arena. Solid hero, doesn't take much to make him great. And then once everything's maxed out over here, he could definitely be a force to reckon with. So I hope you guys enjoyed this very quick breakdown of Apothecary, when to use him, how to use him, how to build him, things like that. I believe that this will probably be the format of all of my hero guides from now on. Just a quick breakdown of that, of how to build him, and how to kind of change his builds and things like change a hero's builds and things like that as you progress through the game. I will still be doing hero highlights where I do 20-30 minute deep dives into a heroes that I think are really interesting or have multiple different kinds of uses, things like that. But for now, this is how I'm going to be breaking down heroes on the build guides and such. So if you like this, please make sure to hit that like. Definitely hit that subscribe, turn them notifications on. It helps immensely when it comes down to the growth of the channel, and helping me put out more content of higher quality, and better entertainment for you guys. But until next time, happy grinding, and may the shards break in your favor. Peace.